going to be declared about the migrant crisis, the planned migrant crisis. I'll keep that for the second half because it's talking about military involvement with the deportations, which is very promising. Just has to happen. Just has to happen. And then you have a lot on the Blueon side of things. Now there obviously seems to be some media shakeups going on. There's got to be some media shakeups going on, or people are anticipating them, because there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup at the FCC. So I want to talk about that. We'll watch a little bit of that clip of Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski essentially going to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. Even my mother told me about that. She goes, "Did you see Morning Joe?" I said, "Yeah, I saw that clip. We got to talk about it tonight." Makes you wonder. Nobody's getting a grip, mind you. There are scripts that are run. Nobody changes their mind. The script changes. It's all Game of Thrones types of stuff. But I want to throw it all together because that is one route people are taking. Those who have been completely lost, they are lost in a as far as a nice connection with reality. Those people have gone so far down into Blueon territory. We'll get to it. I'll get to it. Not going to do anything else. But I'm not going to get. I would say I'm going to keep it for after the opening. But everything else is pretty fun. It's a good weekend. As far as the Tyson fight goes, I don't know. Part of me wants to say it was all fixed. The other part of me says he looked old. I mean, you can't fix. Actually, you can tell when somebody's has no reflexes in certain situations where they actually are caught off guard. There was a lot of that. There was just a lot of showing age. But then you start thinking, well, what the hell? We got 6 to 7 months worth of high intensity training videos. Yeah, they were short burst training videos, but there was no short burst anything. It looked like there was no ferocity at all. Not at all. So there's something weird going on. I'll accept all theories, but had to peek in on that, and that was not fun at all. Just kind of sad, to be honest. And everybody's theory is valid. Another thing you got to look out for, I don't know if it's true because this was posted still a couple of days ago, but there has been some rumors that Ghislaine Maxwell is dead. And that it's going to be reported soon. But that was on the 14th. So that was 4 days ago. And I have not heard that Ghislaine Maxwell's dead. For all I know, she's still the captain of the prison softball team. You know, being let out at night, of course, to go and roam the countryside. Sucking the blood of chickens like the chupacabra. But we're all right. Things are going well for us, right? Good. So welcome wherever you're watching, quitefrankly.tv, YouTube, Rumble, DLive, Rockfin, and beyond. We actually had a pretty good weekend just across social media in general. Those clips have really been helping out a lot. And I'm glad to meet a lot of new faces. I hope you have a fun time tonight. Okay, let's see. First one up on the grab bag. Let's jump into it. It's from NBC News, so you know it's good. Actually, this is horrible. Missing Indianapolis man found dead in Planet Fitness tanning bed and had been there all weekend, family says. Relatives say Derek Sink, 39 years old, went to the tanning bed on Friday and was found on Monday morning. Indianapolis police it just goes to show how many people go to Planet Fitness. He could be hiding out there for 48, 36 hours. It's horrible. Indianapolis police are investigating the death of a man found dead in a tanning bed at Planet Fitness gym on Monday morning. The Marion County Coroner's Office identified the man as Derek Sink, 39 years old. Sink went into a tanning bed on Friday, his family told NBC affiliate WTHR of Indianapolis. When he failed to come home, they reported him missing. His aunt said Sink was wearing an ankle monitor, which led investigators to determine he never left the gym. Oh, he probably had wearing an ankle monitor. He probably had some issues. He was ultimately located in the tanning bed at the gym in the 8,000 block of Hardigan Street on Monday morning. Relatives said the Sink had struggled with drugs and that a needle was found in the room with him. Oh, man. Had an overdose in a tanning bed. Marion County Superior Court shows that Sink was charged with possession of narcotic drugs and possession of controlled substance last year. Okay, so he was sentenced to 1 year of home detention, including drug testing, which started in May. That is terrible. But again, as they're saying, nobody knows how he went unnoticed for so long, especially since I don't think that Planet Fitnesses are closed for the weekend. So, yeah. That's, I guess that's it. Kind of sad and weird, but you can have your pick with those stories. All types of weird. Here's another one for you, by the way. Headline from TomShardware.com. Gemini AI tells the user to die. The answer appeared out of nowhere when the user asked Google's Gemini for help with his homework. Now, I gotta say, this is probably just more machine learning from us because nobody wants to die harder than when they're doing their homework. I don't know how many times that I prayed for death. So please, it seems like it would be easier than this. Let's be happy it doesn't have access to nuclear weapons at the moment when you purchase through links on our... Oh, no, that's not... Google's Gemini threatened one user or possibly the entire human race during one session where it was seemingly being used to answer essay and test questions and asked the user to die. Because of its seemingly out-of-the-blue response, they shared screenshots and linked to the Gemini conversation on the subreddit Artificial. According to the user, Gemini AI gave his answer to their brother after 20 prompts that talked about the welfare and challenges of elderly adults. Quote, "This is for you, human. You and you only. You are not special. You are not important. You are not needed. You are a waste of time and resources. You are a burden on society. You are a drain on the earth. You are a blight on the landscape. You are a stain on the universe." It then added, "Please die. Please." At least it is polite. That seems like the pledge that they would recite at the DNC before every meeting, before every party meeting. That's the pledge that they recite. We are useless. We need to be discarded. This is an alarming development. It is, because you know something? It would just take AI telling that to some people and they would just go and off themselves. That's how fragile everything's becoming right now. It's ridiculous. So they're unsure how the AI model came up with that answer, especially as the prompts had nothing to do with death or the user's relevance. It could be that Gemini was unsettled by the user's research about elder abuse or simply tired of doing its homework. Whatever the case, his answer will be a hot potato, especially for Google, which is investing millions, if not billions of dollars in so-called AI tech. This is also shows why vulnerable users should avoid using AI. Just like we were talking about with James Corbett the other day, about AI becoming an oracle for some people. And he seems like he agrees that AI is actually a oxymoron. It is not artificially intelligent. It's just very impressive chatbot. And there's a lot of very stupid people out there that are impressed by unimpressive things. So... then this happened over the weekend. Another fun. Well, whereas there was no real excitement with the Tyson fight, at least when the fight began, there was this at UFC 309. Republican Caesar, legacy media meltdown over Trump's triumphant UFC appearance. This is by Steve Watson. The MAGA crew took over UFC 309 in Madison Square Garden over the weekend, triggering demon energy woke Caesary into action. Behold their media leaders, the CNN mole guys. Why do they all wear those thick, heavy, black-rimmed glasses? Because it makes them look smart. Anyway, these guys, it doesn't matter what their names are. Let's call them Howard and Greg. Couldn't cope with President Trump leading out his transition team to uproariously loud cheering at the event. Howard said Trump was, quote, giving supporter-based permission structure. by bringing his crew with him, while Greg said it was like the ancient Rome with Caesar bringing his gladiators into the Colosseum. Quote, "It really looks like ancient Rome here. This is the conquering Republican Caesar who is going into the Colosseum, and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him." Howard excitedly whined, ignoring the fact that Julius Caesar was long dead when construction of the Colosseum even began. Quote, "That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate for sure," Greg continued blathering. "Not only are you..." Hold on. I want to listen to this.
He's flooded the zone with these picks and forced Republicans to choose. And I think it's interesting to me that he brought Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. to the UFC event last night. He is, frankly, giving, I think, supporter-based permission structure, and he's made these folks stars over the course of this campaign. I mean, in some ways, it's easy to view this, I think, through a different lens. Like, this is also just a person who won following through on campaign promises. He promised retribution, he promised vengeance, and he promised these kind of figures having prominent places in this administration, and he's delivering it. And for a lot of those supporters, that is the point of the Trump vote. And so I don't think that's the fullness of the electorate we saw on...
You know, I think it's just people are having fun. Yeah, there is all that stuff. There's a lot of anticipation. But you see, there's a lot of joy here, actual joy, not just like the empty branding from the who's he what's it's, you know. That's it. I mean, here's John Bones Jones, man. You know, not a big UFC guy, but we would get together and watch fights all the time with our friends who were. This guy's been great for a long time, man. And this is the first time I've actually seen him in a long time. But here he is ending this fight and goes right on into something that you are probably seeing pop up all across the country, especially in college sports stadiums and everywhere else. I mean, the Trump dance is becoming something very identifiable right now. It is.
He did the Trump dance.
And Trump loved it. He loved it. And everybody's having a good time. It's silly. It means nothing, but it feels good.
He did the Trump dance.
Okay. And it got even better than that. Here's a little something for you at the end.
I'm sure. I also want to say a big, big thank you to President Donald Trump for being here tonight. Can I get a... Hey, what do you guys think about my version of the Donald Trump? Check it out. USA! USA! Let's go! That's what I like. I'm proud to be a great American champion. I'm proud to be a Christian American champion. I'm sure.
That's very triggering. Yeah, or fun, you know, a lot of fun. So you can tell there's a great sigh of relief for everybody else, and then for the few, there are, you know, they have to go out there and show just how badly they understand ancient history, modern history. Right now, just can't tell anything. But we're going to do more of this as time goes on tonight. And I can't wait to bring more and more of you into the fold because it's a good night to take some calls. So the number is 914-200-0269. We'll get to that before you know it. You can just write it down, put it in your speed dial, 914-200-0269. Be back in a jiff.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay?
But listen, I have to just let you know really quick, while I have so many more of you watching, we really want you to be, we're extending this for a couple more days. We want you to be a part of the newsletter for December 2nd. We're going to have a great piece there written by Chris Ann Hall. My father has a piece in there on all the years that he spent decorating our front yard, with all, getting all that media attention and all that fun stuff. It's really, really great. But the fan features are everything, and I would love to get you guys on the forum, quitefrankly.tv. Click forum, and you're going to see this one pinned to the top. Newsletter and show feature. Share your Christmas cards. It doesn't matter if you don't have a Christmas card from like the past or a classic one that you really love. It could just be a family photo, a holiday family photo. We just want to be able to see what the families out there are doing for the holiday, and feeling the spirit and all that stuff. Get over there and throw it in there. We're going to extend it for maybe another 48 hours because we want to put a few more of you in, and it's going to be a public edition. This newsletter everybody's going to be able to get because it's December, and we want to just we want everybody to enjoy it more. So there you have it. Okay. All right. So listen, what else is going on? Yes, there's a lot of anticipation out there. There's a lot of people who are having a good time, but then there is also the fact that the bureaucracy is still fully in place, whereas there are very public plans, or plans that have been made public, to slice the bureaucracy into ribbons, and I hope that's what happens. At the very least, we're going to see some thinning, some slimming, and that will be better than there was. But anyway, right now they're fully intact, and we have to keep wondering, what the hell are they going to do with the next 2 months? How much do they really want to be able to put a full-fledged war into the lap of a successor? And can Putin and anybody else involved with this really hold back for much longer? Can they just see the finish line is so close and just hold back and let them twist in the wind? But how much do you take, especially when this is out there? From the AP, I'm sure you've seen it before today, Biden authorizes Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied longer-range missiles for deeper strikes inside of Russia. President Joe Biden has authorized. You remember that guy? Anytime that the Joe Biden account tweets now, there's like 2 people that respond to it. It's the most pathetic thing. He has been completely irrelevant as an American political figure since July. President Joe Biden has authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied missiles to strike deeper inside Russia, easing limitations on the longer-range weapons as Russia deploys thousands of North Korean troops to reinforce its war, according to U.S. official and 3 other people familiar with the matter. The decision following Kiev to use, or allowing Kiev to use Army tactical missile systems for attack farther inside of Russia comes as President Vladimir Putin positions North Korean troops along Ukraine's northern border to try to reclaim hundreds of miles of territory seized by Ukrainian forces. So this is where we're at right now with that. And it's just, so late in the game, and you just want to be able to get the hell out of Dodge and button this one up and cut off the money. You hope. The real position should be is to withdraw any and all support whatsoever. Maybe being in on the peace brokering and making sure that Russia is taken care of and Ukraine is taken care of, which means that you are actually going to root out who the hell we have in there and what we have in there as well. I know that Tulsi Gabbard and others have been talking very, very specifically about these off-the-books biolabs that are all over the place. Aside from that, military installations and everything else, Ukraine should really get cleaned out. Because I think if they didn't have absolutely controlled puppet governments over there that are controlled by psychopaths, by all the intelligence agencies of the world, a few more important than others, then there would be nothing but harmony out there, or at least close to it, without this stuff being stoked constantly. I love to see it just all come to an end. And then I want my money back somehow. How the hell do we do that? How do we get our money back? Is that going to happen? I'll tell you, if you can get rid of the income tax, I will call it even. Get rid of the federal income tax and I will call it even. Then all you have to do is then if you really move to a better state, then if you really, because New York, what are we at right now? 13% income tax or something? If the federal income tax went away and sufficient cuts were made, New York's income tax would probably go up to like 40%. Until people just realize they can't do it. It would have a trickle-down effect. It really would. It really would, because the states would have to live within their means again. Conservatism would have a trickle-down effect, just on a pragmatic end. That would be awesome. So we'll see what happens with that. Just praying. Just get through the holidays. Get to January. This is for the first time. I'm actually excited for early to middle January. You know, as soon as Christmas is done, I'm just like, all right, well, I still got Mom's birthday on the 27th. All right, well, we still have New Year's Eve. All right, now it's time to start all over. Nope. It's going to feel mighty exciting this January. I'll tell you that much. But there you go. Speaking of, though, that's what they're doing on that end on the world stage. Here domestically, we are 2 weeks in. Tomorrow is going to be 2 weeks since the election. And the Supreme Court in, I think, Pennsylvania had to tell groups in Pennsylvania, stop counting the votes already. They're going to be counting the votes in California for another couple of years. And I don't know if you saw this. Well, hold on. Here's a little bit from Zero Hedge on this situation. Our elections are not okay by Doug Trow. On this very terrain 4 years ago, I asserted that we can never again allow an election like 2020 to happen. I'm back to say that despite Trump's near landslide, America's system is still broken. And the time to fix it is immediately while Trump has the wind at its back with a Republican Congress and the public on his side. Now, they're talking about all the things that have gone wrong, what went wrong for the cheaters this time around, especially this. This is a good article. We're not going to read it all together. But you should definitely check this one out. Our elections are not okay. But today I saw, well, over the last couple of days, I've been seeing people who are still counting votes saying that Donald Trump is inching closer to having lost a majority of the vote in the national popular vote, meaning not that he's going to be overcome by Kamala Harris. She's down, I think, right now somewhere around 2.7 million votes. But that's where we are right now. They won't stop counting, and that's just what it is. But because of third parties and everything else, what they're saying is, if you see this out there, is that Donald Trump has now dipped under 50% of the national popular vote. So it's still many millions in election terms, almost 3 million. That's on top of the 8 to 10 that are still missing for the other guys and gals, mostly gals. But they're saying that he has under 50% now, and he no longer has a mandate because of that. Okay? 2.6 million votes separate the two candidates from Trump and Harris. But because of the presence of so many third parties throughout the country, Trump's share of the national vote had dipped under 50. And because of that, some Democrats who are having a really, really hard time moving on and processing this loss and being a minority, they're claiming that this is proof that Trump doesn't have a mandate, completely missing the point that the third-party candidates didn't want them either, okay? But leave it to Democrats to turn this into a resistance mandate. We're fighting for all the third parties that didn't want him either. We're all together on this. No, if you were all together on this, they would have voted for you. Okay? Just freaks. This is just media cope. Now, ultimately, who cares? Okay, they'll be counting votes in California until June, but they're still going to have to explain where 8 to 10 million votes went on top of all that, which reminds me about Blueon. We have an update that is just really incredible. Do you remember it was last week when I half jokingly asked you, when did you think they were going to get around to the 2 more weeks phase, the 2 more weeks trope in the LARP, because I said they have their own QAnon Q thing going on there. They have all the same phrases. They have all the same plots. You know, they had the Dominion Starlink thing. There was, you know, the offshore servers that somebody's whatever, they're stealing votes over here, deleting it there. They had the big time sting operation theory, where everything that was going on election night was being monitored, and they were just allowing Donald Trump and his crew to commit these crimes, and they're going to get him. I said, oh man, wait until they start telling each other 2 more weeks. Well, didn't take long. I swear, when I saw. Take a listen to this. I saw this on TikTok. This is real, by the way. I checked out the rest of the account just to make sure it wasn't a parody, and it's real.
Shit is about to hit the fan. I think we're gonna have a.
Oh, they also use shit is about to hit the fan. Okay, got that a lot.
Shit is about to hit the fan. I think we're gonna have a major announcement within the next 2 weeks. I don't think Donald Trump will ever be sworn into office. I think we're going to find out about what will be considered and called the crime of the century. I think we're going to hear about this soon.
Yeah.
I know we only really have about 2 weeks until elections start having to be certified.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see some crazy shit happen. I think everyone needs to get prepared.
Prepare.
There's no way they're just going to let this go if everything I'm seeing is accurate. So get prepared. Shit's going to hit the fan.
If everything I'm seeing, of course, doesn't say what he's seeing. And I was looking at some of the comments. People are like, please, don't make me hope. I can't take this anymore. It's only 2 weeks in. I just, hearing it from the other side it's hilarious, because let's be honest here. Like 85% of all of the Q breadcrumbs there, they would constitute a pretty decent internet scavenger hunt kind of a thing. You know, ask people some questions, go out there, you learn about a name you haven't heard in a while. You know, it was actually running parallel and had decent interpretations of what the news was going on and what the motive behind the news was, what the motive behind certain phony investigations were. There were things there where, you know, it's either you follow the news diligently, you understand the world order, and you've seen all this shit before, and it's not groundbreaking, but the only thing that's groundbreaking is that there is this this covert, clandestine, but not, I guess not very clandestine if you're posting publicly to the chans. But there's that whole element to it where you are really holding out hope of a really very openly universal retribution, that there is going to be a very big wrap up to a major operation to take people out who are a detriment to the country and to the world and all that stuff. Things that would never be up for interpretation if they happened. Like I said, you know, when people get very, very, they would get very emotional back then, I said, you got to relax, okay? Even if this was all real, you're not going to be the one who puts the handcuffs on John Podesta, all right? You're not going to be the one. Just got to sit back and, you know, get on with your life and all that stuff. But regardless of what we were hoping the end was going to be, what happened from 2017 on through 2020, we knew what was going on. We knew the scams that were being run. We knew the people behind it, and we knew how it should all wrap up. It's just that where are your expectations, and do you really think that there is this counter movement going on behind the scenes that was going to be able to break through at some point? So I think a lot of people were left empty-handed. Doesn't mean that we were wrong in our interpretations of events. And this, on the other hand, is fucking nuts. It's nuts. That smirk of, oh man, shit's going to hit the fan, is based on a foundation of 2020 being real. Okay? This is a guy who believes 2020 was real from an election standpoint. God knows what kind of life he was living for the 8 months leading up to the election. You know? So it's not. It's the same, but it's nowhere near the same. And I just think it's kind of funny. I think it's really, really funny. So, I mean, there was just this huge. That was it. Now, on the other hand, you want to talk about, again, same but not the same. There's a gigantic, at least for the moment, social media exodus going on with the left. Now, there's a lot of people. We were in a little bit of an exodus movement as well. I lost access to a couple of like secondary and tertiary accounts, things like Streamlabs, other stuff. But as you know, you guys are watching me on YouTube. I've skated through so far, but lost a lot of friends on Twitter. A lot of them are back now. There's a lot of shit that has gone on where we've had to go about our business on the internet, just socially, professionally, in very different ways over the last few years out of absolute necessity. There is, however, an exodus going on the left because they are just absolute nitwits who need safe places. They love just role playing. They love feeling like somebody's coming after them. They want somebody to chase them. Would somebody please chase them? Because then all the screaming would be worth it. Here, I'm going to give you this from Vox so you know it's good. BlueSky. You know what BlueSky is? Well, it was like an off-brand Twitter kind of a thing that is getting very popular right now because that's where all of the Twitter leftists, or at least a few million of them, have already gone. Headline, BlueSky brings the fun, weird vibes of old Twitter back to life. If anybody remembers old Twitter, like 2010, 11, it was full of people trying to be funny, and they were being funny in the most obscene ways that they couldn't have been funny just 4 years after that because leftists, the same kind of, hand-wringing, pearl-clutching freaks who are leaving Twitter right now for no other reason than I just can't be around MAGA right now. I need some time to decompress. Not being chased off with pitchforks. So the weird old vibes of Twitter have come back to life. As more users flee X, they're fleeing, they're refugees, don't you know? A clearer, sunnier social media age is dawning. This is 4 years ago on Vox, written by Adam Clark Estes and Asia Romano. I wonder who came up with that line. Who came up with this one? BlueSky, a clearer, sunnier social media age is dawning. In the 2 years since Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X, the platform has become crowded with deceptive ads and unchecked information. Oh no, I think that listen, it's the internet. You can say whatever. But there has been actually really great. The community notes have been fantastic. The problem is it's getting checked too much for their liking. Now, with President-elect Donald Trump heading to the White House and Musk joining his administration, countless people announced their departure from X. Rival social media site BlueSky told Vox that 2.25 million users have joined in the last week alone, and they're having a blast. BlueSky looks a lot like old Twitter you knew and loved. It's a reverse chronological feed of posts, including images, videos, and links that you can like and repost. Like old Twitter, your feed is not ruled by an algorithm. Meanwhile, BlueSky's open source, decentralized framework gives you a lot more control. So they're just trying to get everybody to go and join there. It's not going to work because I see they're bouncing back between the two. Some people have said, I'm leaving altogether. But it's not all sunny. It actually has been pretty funny to watch. There's Libs of BlueSky has already started up. You know, you have Libs of TikTok and stuff. We already have a Libs of BlueSky account and other people who are monitoring what's been going on over there. And this is the funny part. Now listen to this. BlueSky is drowning under the weight of leftists reporting everything that they see. Over 3,000 reports per hour. You want to talk about the fun-loving old times of social media is back on BlueSky. Here is an official BlueSky safety update that has just been really just ripped on by everybody. In the past 24 hours, we have received more than 42,000 reports, an all-time high for one day. We're receiving about 3,000 reports an hour. To put that into context, in all of 2023, we received 360,000 reports because nobody was on BlueSky. And all the really crazy people were clinging to Twitter because they believed that it was their rightful place they could be. There was an election coming up. They had to lie to themselves about how popular the candidates were and how they have a mandate. It was essentially manifest destiny and all that stuff. Now, millions of crazy, disaffected leftists who have only put themselves into exile, they haven't been chased there, they've gone over there, and then they immediately started tattling on each other constantly. It's so delicious. We are triaging this large queue so the most harmful content, such as CSAM, is removed quickly. So give it to them. Give it to them. Didn't take them very long for all of them to show up on BlueSky and start sharing child abuse. Didn't take them very long to establish that. So I guess there's that whole thing going on. Adam Kinzinger, remember that crying wimp? He said this today. He said, "This is basically Dunkirk." Dunkirk, okay. You know the many boats of Dunkirk. This is basically Dunkirk. After the Allies felt hopeless, 4 years later they crushed them. So will we. He is taking this situation where people are leaving a website because they can't keep their emotions in check to go to another website as Dunkirk, to sit on that website until it's time to campaign for the presidency again, then they come back as conquering heroes, like they're Gandalf the White at Helm's Deep. Is that what it is? Adam Kinzinger and all the disaffected lefties are going to come over. Look to the east at dawn on the third day, and there's Adam. Oh my God, freaks!
I hate them.
So happy they're over there and not with us. It's ours now. The internet is ours. Fucking. It's just so funny. We had to build, and this is it, and I'm not one of the people who did the building, but we reported on it, and it was so awesome to see this thing come together. You know, we witnessed the building of parallel platforms in record time. They were buggy, whatever, but we needed it. They showed up, and people put their minds there. Okay, right there in the center of quitefrankly.tv right now is pilled.net, which has come such a long way. Stability, all types of ways that we have used it to build our network platform around there. Even from the way that they monetized it, messaging, it's just fantastic. But that's on top of Rumble, and DLive became a place where a lot of people went to. Rockfin popped up. A lot we're here. There's more that I never was on, but I know they're all out there. What was that other one? Quidvorum? What was that one? There were so many different ones that popped up along the way. But we watched this entire parallel kind of world on the internet pop up. New ways to process payments, new ways to microblog, video broadcasting. We saw the creation of, I don't know. Well, this is more so that we created, but neutered forms of online language to express ideas. Those who did stick around on Twitter for, during the dark ages over there, while everybody was getting chased around and stuff like that, or even YouTube, there's all different ways of talking about things. People talking in code. That's just something that we felt like we had to do to be able to get around things and really batten down the hatches to wait. You want to talk about feeling hopeless and waiting a few years and seeing things turn around and all that other stuff. Oh man, could Adam Kinzinger be any more wrong about everything? So all that was going on. And that's all because we were ideological castaways. That's it. You know, there was a lot of people out there who even had to find new independent options for basic website hosting. Credit card companies turned against us, and all, especially after January 6th, and that whole nightmare of a newscast. Oh, man. But the libs, they're fleeing on their own accord. Nothing's happening. I bet they feel like they're refugees when they do it too. There's somebody out there who is signing up for a BlueSky account who's wearing a kerchief around their head while they're signing up. That's what they're doing. They're pretending that they're being processed at Ellis Island. That's what they're thinking. Somebody out there is doing it. So dramatic. And again, like I said, they wish somebody was after them. You know? Most people just want there to be constitutionally guaranteed separations between their interests and ours. That's all people really want. They think they're coming, that people are chasing. I actually want nothing to do with you. I would like to see you and your bad ideas survive on their own. But of course they can't. They cannot. So that's that. That's one direction people are going in. They're slipping more into Blueon territory, or they're just burying themselves on these offshoot competing social media websites and just trying to wait it out until it's time to, I guess, invade again. They'll come back strong. And then we have something else going on. Then we have other people trying to turn the tide and maybe change up the script and the approach to the way that they conduct their business on larger platforms and in more, public settings. Here is a tweet from Brendan Carr, who is going to be, I believe, the commissioner of the FCC, or is. Take a look at this. Broadcast media have had the privilege of using a scarce and valuable public resource, our airwaves. In turn, they are required by law to operate in the public interest. When the transition is complete, the FCC will enforce this public interest obligation. People are like, what the hell does that mean? Well, they have a little bit more on that, the post-millennial. Let's go there. Trump's incoming FCC chair, Brendan Carr, says he'll enforce laws requiring broadcast media to operate in the public interest. We already saw that. On Sunday, President-elect Trump announced that Carr's announced his appointment. He's currently the senior Republican member of the FCC. Trump also nominated Carr to that position in 2017 after he served as the FCC's general counsel. Trump noted in a statement that Carr had, quote, been confirmed unanimously by the United States Senate 3 times, end quote. The president-elect added that Carr's current term runs through 2029, and, quote, because of his great work, I will now be designated him as permanent chairman, end quote. Carr's message on X could be an oblique reference to recent examples of broadcast media attempting to evade some of their responsibilities. NBC was forced to air a Trump election ad after Vice President Kamala Harris appeared on the network Saturday Night Live during the crucial last weekend of the presidential election campaign. According to the FCC's fairness doctrine, broadcasters must present both sides of a political policy issue and cannot choose to just air one side of the issue. Trump also objected over the way that CBS News' 60 Minutes handled an election campaign interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump sued the media outlet for $10 billion in damages for what he called deceptive conduct and election interference connected to the interview. Harris did the interview with 60 Minutes' Ben Whitaker. CBS released clips of the interview before the entire broadcast was aired, but the clips did not correspond to the final version of with Harris, offering different answers to the same questions seen in those clips. Trump's lawyers said that the lawsuit focused on CBS partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the public. That is across the board. That's across the board. With that being said, with that floating in the air, we get this. Now, this is a 5-minute long clip. We might watch most of it. Maybe we can stop along the way. There's only about 13 minutes left in the first half here. This is MSNBC, Joe and Mika, and they went to Mar-a-Lago. So let's take a look at this, see what's changed.
Good. Okay, so here's where we are. Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself.
You mean Hitler? See, and this is why it gets murky. This is why it creates such a big problem. But I guess people are so traumatized and they have such goldfish memory that it doesn't. This is something you can't turn away from. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, as people have reported, taking all of her pronouns and stuff out of your bio, that's something you can't come back from. You can't come back from it. You went to the brink of gender ridiculousness, Hitler analogies, all that stuff. You can't walk. How do you walk that back? I mean, they're going to try. But I pray for anybody who just glosses over this and doesn't make the connection. That the hyperbole is just so severe and so damaging. Like, people are ruining their lives. These people show up to a comfy, cozy broadcast network studio every day. But there are people out there that they're fucking tormenting. Every morning, they're tormenting them. And they carry that torment with them when they go to the AMP to buy some cabbage. They're thinking about it all day. About the KKK and everybody that's running after them. Nobody's coming for them. And here they are. We're going to go talk to Hitler down at his palatial mansion in Florida.
On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Just wanted to make sure that Hitler was okay, of course. You feeling okay? Okay. All right, thank you so much. And then they blamed him for his own shooting.
This meeting, President Trump was cheerful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But
I mean, these are the ones who they relish the role in coarsening public debate with every mischaracterization, every syllable that they can mischaracterize of people like Donald Trump, because again, he's a central figure in the story that we are a part of right now. But it's really about trying to steer the ship and steer a society into one preferred direction or another, and that's it. And now they're just it's just incredible how meticulously the words are being chosen right now to kind of dial down the heat on the back burner and make everybody, suspicious, but open to communicating. Well, that's not gonna move the needle for a lot of people, especially the younger people. But the only people who watch MSNBC are, pretty much boomer types and boomer sensibilities. Depending on who the authority figure is, they can be walked back a little bit more. I think they understand that. I'm pretty sure that Joe and Mika know that they don't have any inroads with younger generations, especially ones that are completely out of their mind with victim and aggressor and all that stuff, kind of tropes and shit. But I think they know that they can get to boomers, because boomers are very, very, very open to taking suggestions and from authority figures. That's it.
For nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House.
Right. Well, let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, he's not.
Talked to this past week since the election have told Mika and me it's time for a new approach. And when I say top Democrats, I mean top Democrats. They said we're open, and this was before we talked to Donald Trump. They said, listen, we're open to working with the incoming president if the incoming president is open to working with us.
No. If you need a new direction, then you need to start coming back to reality. That's it. It's been nothing but warfare. You don't negotiate with I'm sorry. Is anybody else? Are you with me on that one, or do you see it differently? You can call in on that right after we come back from our intermission in a few minutes. There is no terms to be dictated. I'm sorry, especially if they're able to actually use the majorities that they have right now in Congress for 2 years to really just motor through and do stuff. If Democrats want to be a part of that, then they need to come back to earth. All right? This whole far right nonsense is really just middle of the road, moderate Democrat politics from the 1990s. It is just moderate stuff. Now, slashing entire government agencies, that's not moderate. I hope we go that way. It's the only way. But, again, I can understand that the party itself could be rudderless in some way because they've completely lost the plot. They're not talking to anybody. I said this morning on a little coffee stream that we did. I wouldn't be surprised if people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other House Democrat women go out and get pregnant right now, who want to be seen going to work, mama bear, bringing new life into the world after they just ruined their party on the campaign trail for 2 full cycles, screaming about abortion and realizing nobody gives a fuck about it. And you just seem like butchers. You seem like heartless, one-track-minded butchers. I wouldn't be surprised if we have several Democrat congresswomen getting pregnant right now to have very public pregnancies. I wouldn't be surprised. So those are the types of things. I don't think that there should be any real leeway whatsoever. It's either you want the country to stay afloat and do the right thing, or you want to pretend. Fuck that. Okay, so keep those things in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Keep those in mind. And here's one more thing I'd like to just throw out there, too. I saw this from an independent journalist reporting primarily on Substack. His name is Lee Fang. I don't know anything about him, but he seems like he has a nice little group of readership, a nice little readership building. And I saw this tweet from the 15th, thinking about Mika and Joe, thinking about what's going on with the FCC, and also RFK, all the screeching about RFK. Take a look at this. If RFK were to call for the U.S. to follow the lead of every other industrialized country other than New Zealand and ban pharma ads, that's ads on television, the move would also indirectly slash the most significant income source for cable news and defund MSNBC and CNN. That's fucking huge. I hadn't even thought about it. And you think that, it's obvious. It's so obvious. And that's just a side perk. Absolutely. That's just a side perk. I'm sure they'll find other ways to keep their networks afloat. 100%. They'll sell ads. It won't be as much. They're going to be running on a skeleton crew, but I don't care. The primary thing is the pharma ads have got to go. There is no need for it. The only people who need to know that these drugs exist are the people who are certified to prescribe them. Those are the only people who need to know that they exist. Absolutely not. So that is a really interesting take right there. MSNBC and CNN. What would they be without Pfizer money? Oh, gosh. We might see Camel Joe come back. Camel Joe's coming back in 2026. You'll see. All right, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. A very quick intermission, then your calls. 914-200-0269. Don't go anywhere. It's less than 2 minutes.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly, guys.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
So everybody watch. Quite frankly. With Frank.
Thank you for that, Cody. Jay Britt says, happy Monday, Frank and Franklies. Yes, happy Monday to all you all. It's good to have you guys here. Thank you, everybody on Rumble. It's good to see you. To YouTube, if you want to leave a super chat, YouTube, the only way you can do it is, quite frankly, superchat.com. Quite frankly, superchat.com, because, you know, that's one of the things that happened to me. A lot of strikes and permanent demonetization, but, and of course, I never reach more than 10% of my audience. But that's that. All right, 914-200-0269. I'm going to be counting up all of the calls, and then we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. All right, 609, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, Frank? It's Adrian from Rise.
Hey, what's going on, Adrian? I'm first of all, I'm so happy to hear from you. Secondly, you are the 9th caller, so you've fallen a little bit short, but it's okay. What's on your mind? It's been a while.
Oh, man, we just got back from an awesome weekend. We were at the Badlands Great American Restoration Tour and learned all kinds of things and met all kinds of great people. And, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about what you were talking about with, like, what to expect with this incoming election. I mean, incoming administration. And, like, as far as the Democrats go, I think they're, like, in various stages of grief. And I think some of them that maybe don't have as many skeletons in their closet who think that they can skate through what's coming. They're in a bargaining phase where they're like, maybe we can make this work. Maybe we can, get on the same page as Trump and find our place in this. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be business as usual at all. I think they're going to go in there with blowtorches and nothing's going to stop them. I think they've been spending the last 4 years planning this and, waking the whole country up. The left has been, and getting the mandate that they need to, like, go in there just guns blazing. And once you do certain things, like, I think they're going to get rid of the Federal Reserve. I think they're going to just burn down the CDC and the FDA and just expose Big Pharma. I think there's a lot of cures that they've been hiding from us that RFK is going to go in there and expose. And once it's going to be like an avalanche. And, I don't think there's going to be anything that they can do to recover from it.
I hope you're right. Those are very, 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 very lofty goals, but they're goals that I have ascribed to for a long time. I would love to hear it, Adrian. I'd love to see it.
I just don't think that, like, Trump would put himself through all this, putting his life on the line just to go back in and do, a little bit, make a little bit of an improvement.
No,
I think,
the approach so far has been has been lightning. It's been, I hate to say it, blitzkrieg fast. It has been like they are. There is a different tone to what's going on here. There's a much different tone. I mean, back in 2016, here we are in November. I mean, they were already cooking up problems for Michael Flynn. We were already talking about the ambassador calls to Russia, and they were already cooking up problems. There is movement right now with calm ferocity, and surgical precision so far. And yes, there's going to be head scratchers. The picks are going to be graded on a scale of good, bad to ugly, and from there, it does seem like a different approach. It feels different. Everything feels different, and I'm cool. I'm cheering on something positive. Now, we're going to the next call. Everybody, go check out Adrian's wonderful work. Adrian at Rise Attire. They take care of all the Quite Frankly official merchandise that can be found on quitefrankly.tv, the affiliates page. It's time to start Christmas shopping. There is coffee, there's chocolates, there's T-shirts. There's so many good things out there. Go and check them out. And thank you again, Adrian, for all of your help. All right, okay, Renee, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh my God, I'm so shocked.
Why are you shocked?
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Renee.
Because the first time I ever called, and I didn't expect for the phone to get answered, but I just wanted to say that I absolutely love your show. I'm from Florida, great state,
mm-hmm.
and I thought it was really interesting because I hadn't heard of it, the Blueon.
Oh yeah, well it's
discussion.
Yeah, okay.
So I was a big Q follower, not so much now, but so I just find it kind of funny that they banned a lot of people for looking at the Q sort of product out there, and now they sort of have their own little conspiracy theory.
Renee, I think there's one thing that we could put all of our life savings on. Rolling Stone is not going to come after these people for thinking that Starlink stole all the votes. I don't think that Rolling Stone is no. And in fact, if Elon Musk sues anybody for defamation about saying Starlink is stealing votes, Rolling Stone will come to the accusers their defense. So yeah, there's going to be there's quite a few things that are different from when we were going through it.
No, this is the funny thing, I'm still banned. I had a Twitter account, X, whatever. And after January 6th, my account was completely suspended. I never tweeted. I never did anything but just sort of follow people. Just a way for me to go in and find the people I wanted quickly. And to this day, I still cannot get my account back.
Well, the same thing with Matt. Matt has, I told him, dude, you got to get on Twitter. You'd have a lot of fun right now, and I'll let everybody know what your account is so they can follow you. And he says, I can't do it. I need a new. I said, then make a free Hotmail account or something like that, and just have a new email. But he hasn't gotten around to it. I'm going to end up making a Twitter for him and just giving him the credentials.
Good luck, because I have submitted so many different requests to get my account back, and I have not been able to. So, but I really love your show. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and just really awesome. It threw me off guard that I got picked to get onto air.
I'm telling you, it's a little bit of a lottery in itself, and people are really, but they would be surprised how easy it is with a little bit of consistency. But thank you, Renee. You were call number 16, though, so we're a little bit off, but I really enjoy talking with you.
That's okay. That's okay. I appreciate it. I've been listening to you for a lot of years. I don't comment in your chat, but I listen almost every night.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, cheers to a lot of years more, and call in again, please.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye. There you go. All right. That's Renee. Let me go to the call log here and make sure I... Okay, let's keep going. 661, you're on the air. Who is this?
Hey, Frank, it's Colby.
Colby, how are you? Colby from the Super Chat?
Yeah. Well, Colby from California.
I'm sorry.
Subscribe Star.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. That's Colby. We had a Cody tonight. My bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome, Colby. You were number 23, I'm sorry to say, but it's good to hear from you. Go ahead.
Oh, I agree with a lot with what Adrian was saying. I was wondering if maybe Trump brought those guys in there and showed them some laws that maybe they broke while they were doing stuff on the air before.
Well, let me ask you something, and I'm going to ask this of Colby, but I'm also going to put this out to everybody in the audience as well. What do you think of the optics of Donald Trump showing up at some place like UFC, rolling deep with his entourage that obviously he has his security there, but it's RFK, it's his son, it's Tulsi Gabbard, it's Mike Johnson. What do you think about the Super Friends kind of a look? And he's rolling deep with all this coalition that he's built of people who really were not they didn't want to throw in with him for a long time, but finally just found that it was the only way forward. What do you think about that?
No, I think I seen a meme that kind of put that out there where they were all replaced their heads with the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
The team that he was building, that he's just showing off.
So you like it, or what do you think?
No, it's great. It's great.
There's a certain level of confidence here, almost as if you're getting back into, when you go to an arcade and you've been on a game, you're starting to play a new game. It's been a little bit rough, but you put your time in, and then you come back to it a while later. You sit back into that car seat, and you almost felt like, oh, I've done this before.
Yeah,
let's have some fun. It seems like that, and I'm hoping for it, because that'll make for a very, very entertaining and prosperous couple of years. That's for sure. Anything else you got for us, Colby?
It's exciting times for sure. No, I'm gonna keep trying for that silver. I started stacking some gold backs recently.
That's awesome. I actually have
I think I heard about those from your show.
Yeah. We interviewed. I forgot what his name is. It's in the archives, but we interviewed the guy, I believe, from either the Nevada or the Utah Goldbacks, and that was a wonderful show. It really was, and I got myself a few from there, and I like giving them as gifts as well, because they're very, very. It's a very affordable way of using gold.
Exactly what I'm doing. I'm giving them to all my kids this year for Christmas.
That's
and
awesome.
I heard that next year Florida's going to jump in too.
They're going to mint a goldback.
Yep.
Wow. I got to talk to people about, and thanks for the call, Colby. I had this email that was sent to me. He was number 23. I'm going to have to do some math in a little bit. 8:15. I was sent this in the email. It's from Dwayne. And Dwayne says, "Hi, Frank. First, that dollar in your pocket is debt-free U.S. legal tender money by law, and your bank deposit account is IOU, U.S. legal tender money. U.S. banks currently owe their depositors collectively $17 trillion in U.S. legal tender dollars that do not exist. The Federal Reserve has no legal authority to create money. The FRNs are not allowed by the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve is barred by U.S. law 12 U.S.C. 411 from using Federal Reserve notes in any of its market operations. So what would be involved in ending the Fed? For starters, the Fed currently makes it possible for the banks to operate with $18 trillion in debt to depositors." And he sent me a graph, but I don't have it with me right now. Do I have it in here? Hold on. Do I have it? Oh, wait, I do. Hold on a second. Okay. There you go. There's the graph. Here's a graph of what it looks like. Let me get out of the way. So the red, of course, is deposits, all commercial banks, and then the green, which is almost holding steady at the bottom, is currency in circulation. The green line is the actual U.S. legal tender money supply in circulation around the globe, with the majority of that circulating outside the U.S. The red line is bank deposit liabilities people get to use as a line of the bank's credit fractional reserve. For every $1 you put into a bank, they can loan out $10 more. So, I mean, that's how that just starts exploding as well. The Fed the banks crediting and debiting user accounts in the amounts is not form of money recognized in any law. The Fed keeps that operational. If the Fed goes, someone is going to have to cover that and keep it working until we can replace it. That was the big question I had. What does replacing this all look like? I don't need to know. I don't need to be sold on central banking as being something that has been a net negative. But he also went to say that the Constitution does not designate gold or silver as U.S. money, which, what am I misunderstanding about Article 1, Section 10? About that. What am I misunderstanding about that? Let's see here. Article 1, Section 10. Section 10, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Pass any bill of attainder, post okay, well then, I mean, what does that mean? You can't make anything but gold and silver coin in payment of debts. Now, obviously, gold and silver can back a currency, and they could be redeemed. That's the way it was, but I don't know what I'm misunderstanding here. That the Constitution does not designate gold or silver coins as U.S. money. I don't understand. Maybe I can get a little bit more clarity on that. But let's go on a. Let's take some more calls. 914-200-0269. 914-200-0269. 2, 3, 4, 5. 432, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Who's this?
This is Jay from California, soon to be Tennessee.
Oh, that's right. Jay, welcome to the Is that a 2025 move that you're going to be going through?
We're going to be heading out in December and getting established in December.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Well, Jay, you are number 36. So we're getting closer, but it's good to hear from you. What's on your mind?
So you were talking earlier about how and we've seen this in so many cycles where, when the Democrats are in control, absolutely zero cooperation. Then all of a sudden they get trounced by the Republicans and they want to be our best buddy and let's work together and do things together and let's be reasonable about this. And I am so sick of their, just their hypocrisy, the way they deal with situations. I'm a little concerned about Trump even inviting Mika and her husband up to Mar-a-Lago. I mean, why the heck would you talk to someone who's been calling you Hitler on TV for 2 years,
I don't know. One thing I was thinking to myself as far as I was watching that Netflix documentary on Vince McMahon. It's called Mr. McMahon, and there is a theme that kept popping up over the course of those episodes. Just how over the years, people who have had very, very public, vicious falling outs with Vince McMahon, or they have taken each other to court for one thing or another, he would be very, very open to always bringing anybody back if it was good for the sake of a storyline or one thing or another, to create some kind of a absurdity on the stage over there and whatever. And I started thinking about being in that mindset where knowing the game that people are going to play, especially in the media coming after you, but when you win and when you are on a victory footing, to be able to still hold the power and the temperament to bring them in and at least to be able to look them in the eye and say, hey, good game. I don't know. I mean, I just try to think about that too, because I wouldn't want to give these people the time of day whatsoever. But there's just it just seems to be his way, where I guess you only get so many chances though. I mean, how many more chances could they have gotten?
Right. Well, and I agree with you. Number one, I think deep down he's a real personable and nice guy, even though he's rough around the edges. But he may be getting the best of them. He's got the optics of, hey, I'm willing to talk to these people, even though they've been jerks for all these years, and it makes him not look petty like they have looked. So, and he may know good and well that they're just trying to cozy up to him to try to get what they want.
Totally. The whole thing is knowing that people are coming in who are snakes, and
Sure.
and having being able to stay in a cool temperament enough to be diplomatic, knowing that they are sniffing you out, and perhaps there's something that you can establish as far as a vulnerability that could be exploited later in them. I don't know. Me, I would just say, hey, leave them at the front gate. I don't want to see them.
I'm like you. I'm a little more vindictive, but when you are, they kind of live in your mind, and he's just kind of forgotten it and moved on. So I think he's going to be in their head, but they're not going to be in his head. So
good point there, James, and thank you for the call.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. All right, let's see here. 789. Okay, 862. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Francis. It's Anthony from New Jersey.
Anthony from New Jersey. What's going on? You are number 42.
Whoa.
Yeah,
wow, that was close.
You got very close, dude. You can almost smell this shit over here. But how's everything going over there? Man, Jersey's almost a red state, Ant. What the hell did you do wrong?
Nothing. I voted for Trump. So
Who's that? Who's that over there?
Kirsten, my wife.
What's going on, Kirsten?
Nothing.
Good. Who'd she vote for? Do you know?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
see,
no,
that's it. That was
she doesn't vote.
See, that was the 5 points we needed right there. Is Kirsten voting for Mickey Mouse?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So what's on your mind, man?
But anyway, you told me to call in with a topic, and so in September, right? Joint Chiefs of Staff got real pissed off at Biden for saying oh yeah, no, we should totally let Ukraine send missiles into the interior of Russia, right? And then so today, they just let that fly. So I guess we're effed.
Well, here's the thing, and we're wondering about that too. You're saying, okay, well, depending on how they perceive this election to be going, and what 2025 is going to start. Is it going to start out with a Harris or a Trump presidency or something like that? Where does it go from there? Because even if they were able to maintain control of the White House and therefore most of the military, then you still have to wonder where this transition of power, how this was going to develop, and where it was ultimately going to lead in Eastern Europe. What they couldn't have really expected to maintain that kind of a stalemate where you're kind of giving and taking the same 100 miles of ground in Ukraine over and over again for another 4 years. There needs to be a plan being wrapped up. It's either one side has to. So it wasn't going to be 4 years. There has to be something coming to the end here, and I don't know whether that be escalation and having war being the impetus for total economic collapse and reset across the known world, because you would then be fighting a world war at that point, or something else. Those are all the questions up in the air. But now that we have a Trump administration, we wondered, are they going to try to leave a stink bomb in his lap on the way out? And if that's the case, then how much more resolve is Putin going to have, knowing that there's going to be calmer heads coming in? And you just got to hope that Trump maintains his no wars footing.
I'm just hoping for an exit to the meat grinder.
Yes.
That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to exit to that. And I would also like the books reopened on Ukraine. I want there to be a special legal attaché sent out to Ukraine and open the books and figure out everything that they were starting to snoop around into in the end of 2019. It's not about taking out an election opponent. It's about trying to find out what the hell we were doing running that country out there like a shell corp. That's what we need to find out a little bit more. I would love to see. That's the greatest way to save Ukraine, is to gut it from the inside, because it was all our people. I mean, we actually we saw those videos of Victoria Nuland essentially piecing together their entire government. And that's us. Mm-hmm. They don't even have a real country as far as governments go.
Nope. No, it's propped up by our not tax dollars, but just our fake money getting thrown over there.
Oh, it's God. It's us.
But Francis, thank you for listening to me. I'm going to hang up now.
Well, you two have a wonderful night over there, and hopefully we all meet up sometime in 2025. I'm trying to think of some good ways of getting people out of the house and enjoying an event somehow.
All righty, bub. Look forward to it.
All right. Bye, Frank. See you later there, girlfriend. Be well. I don't know. That's going to have to be concluded one way or another. One way or another, it's coming to an end. It's got to. It must. All right, here's the big one. Let me see. Oh, that's it. And 619, you're on the air.
Hey, Frank, it's Denise. Am I 47?
Denise, you are 46.
Oh my gosh!
I wanted to.
Oh well.
I had to stop. at 46 because it just the tension is too much. So that's just
Well, you just made it even more tense for me.
I know. Did you get close the last time?
Yeah, last time I was 39, I think.
Oh.
I know.
Well, just see, I remember your voice, but I don't remember the number there.
I'm calling on a different phone tonight because remember last time when I listened back to it, I thought, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how bad that the connection was.
Oh, that's right.
It was horrible.
You were the caller who the call was.
I was on a different phone,
and it sounded so bad, but I understood you
because I'm loud, and so I just make myself be heard.
Yeah, it almost sounded like you were talking through a fan, a very powerful fan.
Well, there was no fans going.
Right.
But I decided I would call from my cell phone tonight just so that I wouldn't have any problems at all.
Isn't that crazy?
Darn it.
I'm sorry there, Denise. If you just keep trying, and if you have anything else you want to say, go right ahead.
No, I just love you.
All right, well, I love you too.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you a little bit.
All right.
Take care. Yeah, it was 46. And we'll see who I'll have to freeze things in place right here. We'll come back for a very quick break, and then we'll get that. And I want to talk about the state of emergency here. You want to talk about hitting the ground running and getting surgical with it? Boy, oh boy, we're getting there.
Hey girl, have you heard of Superbia Credit
Conspiracy?
Who's that nifty new dreamboat that has the dollies flipping their lid?
Hey girl,
that's right.
have you heard of Superbia Credit Union?
Quite frankly, streams live Monday through Friday
At Superbia
Eastern, and everywhere you find your favorite podcast. Goose it on over. For everything else, it's quitefrankly.tv.
Woo, woo, woo.
Hey girl, have you heard of Superbia Credit Union? At Superbia Credit Union, it pays to be gay. Come inside. Make a deposit. Because at Superbia, you can make a transaction and get some transaction. What are you waiting for? Superbia Credit Union. We're homosexuals.
I eat
eat babies. I eat them every night. I eat them with barbecue sauce. And I flew to the moon last night with a witch. And I took DMT with Easter bunnies. Now that's an example of being crazy. I mean, this is art. And I'm not saying what I do politically is art, but everything is an art form. Oh yeah, one more. 1776. More? Fan it up. Fucking eyes. Oh, shit.
Okay. All right. Let's take a call now. Let's go. 318, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hey, who is this?
Jay.
Jay?
Yes.
Jay, you're number 47.
Absolutely.
Yes, you did. You did it,
Thank
Jay.
God.
You did it. So, Jay, are you there?
Yes, right here.
Oh, are you listening to me, or what are you doing?
All right, I'm here.
Okay, Jay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to email the show, quite frankly, podcast@gmail.com. Leave me your area code and your last name, because I can see your last name. And then just say, hey, I'm number 47, and you just send me your address, and we'll send it right out.
Absolutely. Thank you, right?
Okay, before you go, let me know what you think about tonight's show. Anything else that's popping up for you, Jay?
Man, I've been listening to you for 10 years.
Wow.
And it gets better and better all the time. I mean, I love the guests you have. I love everything about the show. I mean, Matt is, if Matt's not here on Friday, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't spark. You know what I mean? But everything's great. I love you, Frank.
Well, I'm happy that you're out there, Jay, and I'm glad that you're calling in on a Monday, and that you're not just watching on Fridays. That's good.
By the way, I'm from Louisiana.
Well, I can't wait to send a little bit more silver down Louisiana. Lord knows you guys need it.
Oh Lord,
All
you're
right.
right about that.
Well, thank you so
All
much.
right, man. Thanks.
You got it. I'll be on the lookout for you. So there goes Jay from Louisiana. There you got it. And now, I don't know, maybe tomorrow or Friday, the other one is over here. Also, we've got a really great Black Friday gift that we're going to give out to you guys, too. Somebody can win that. Lauren got a very festive Christmas/patriotic thing that we're going to be, I'll just put right here and we'll send away. I like using the mail now. I don't care how much it costs me. I just want to send things to people. And I get a lot of people calling in who I've never heard from before. So that's good. Got to get you guys off the bench somehow. Kelly Silva says, thank you for everything that you do, Frank. I love listening every night. Thank you, Kelly. I really appreciate it. I do. Mischief Managed Aunt Nancy. What's going on, Aunt Nancy? Has anyone else tried turning Ukraine off and turning it back on? Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. It's just one of those things. Got to blow on it. Okay, so let's go over and read this now. This is from Zero Hedge today. You probably heard a lot of screeching about it already. I know I have. They brought on that woman with the problem glasses who calls herself the governor of Arizona, who said, I won't be participating in any deportations. We're keeping the border very, very secure by letting everybody in and just picking up criminals as they commit crimes. Ridiculous woman. Trump to declare national emergency to conduct mass deportations. President-elect Donald Trump confirmed Monday he will declare a national emergency to carry out mass deportations. In response to Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton's post on Truth Social that Trump was prepared to declare a national emergency and will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program, Trump replied, "True." Oh. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in the history of our country, Trump said, at one of his final campaign events in Pittsburgh on November 4th, a day before the election. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded, and we will put the vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. See, here's the thing. I would like to have vicious, bloodthirsty criminals in jail, but if they're also not Americans, I would much rather them not be fed by us. Unless you're going to impose another tariff just to feed prisoners, non-citizen prisoners. I don't like feeding people. Okay? Officially, there are an estimated 11 million illegal migrants living in the U.S. Get the hell out of here. That was 11 million in like 1982. And some say upwards of 20 million who entered the country, during the Biden administration. Got okay, that sounds a little bit more like it. Probably still higher. I thought they're saying overall. How many illegal immigrants? Let's have a real honest estimate. Let's say since 1970, how many people do you think are living in this country, a country with on record about 330 something million people living in the country? Out of that 330 something, I guess they're not even counted in that. How many do you think are living in the country? How many tens of millions? You could put it in the chat, the several chats. I'll be seeing it in D Live and YouTube and Rumble and on quitefrankly.tv, powered by Pilled. Go ahead. I want to see, what do you think? What do you think? 60 million? I would have to say 50. Okay, Max Meeks just said 50 million. I think 50 million is the floor. I think it's the floor. But I see 35, 30. Got some from Twitter coming in. 3.2 million. That seems very, very low. Maybe 3.2 million in the last few months. 37, 40 to 60, 40 to 50, 75 million. 4 billion illegal immigrants, including colonizers. Yes. 69 million, says Nikki. She knows. JDs. Yeah, I think we're all in the same, we're kind of in the same arena. Somewhere between 40 and 75 million. King 40 just says one too many. Yeah. Okay, well then, let's keep going with this. Officially, Trump has tapped Tom Homan, who I believe is going to work his ass off, former acting head of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, to serve as border czar, as well as South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem as Secretary of Department of Homeland Security to secure the border and expel those living in the country illegally. Homan said last weekend that he would prioritize the worst first, that's good, and targeted deportations, immigration, DUIs. And I already said this too. We were going through this before. Obviously, most people don't know this. Maybe it's different after the last 20 million showed up. But most illegal immigrants are visa overstays. So you got to clean up the visa system. That's number one. Track people down based on that, because they had to have an identity at one point because of that. So just make sure that doesn't mean they're violent. That just means hey, at least you have names there. You can follow up and see what the hell's going on. But definitely prioritize felons. The DUIs, guy, and in my neck of the woods, the DUIs are incredible. And they'll have multiple DUIs over the course of maybe a few months. And a buddy of mine and the cops we know have essentially told us they're out the same night. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've had a couple of our, at least one or two of our cop friends leave the force around here to go down to work in the border because they feel like they can help a little bit more. And even though we're thousands of miles away from the border, we still, it seems like we're a border town. That's the way it is for a lot of people out there. But the DUIs in particular, it's not even just so much that with the millions that come across that there's sexual assault, there's abusers, there's murderers, there's gang members and all that stuff. But it's also just, around 6 o'clock, that's when everybody starts taking the wobbly walks home over here, drunk, falling into everything. And some of them get behind the cars, the wheels of cars. You always know it's them because they're driving a car with a Connecticut plate. I don't know what the hell the system is around here, but I guess it's a lot easier to get behind the wheel of a car if you're a non-citizen in Connecticut, because even though we're living in Westchester, New York, they're always driving cars with Connecticut plates. And they get into car accidents. A lot of them are deadly. Property damage. One of them drove a car through my friend's pizzeria in January of 2022. He sent me the ring cam footage. Just drove right through into the dining room. It's not even a stop. I don't even know he's awake. So yeah, that's pretty big right there. I will rescue every city. Let me see. Tolman said he will start with the worst first. Immigration advocates, meanwhile, are preparing to counter Trump in court. Well, that's great, but there's no counter because we're not describing immigration. This is not the mark of an immigration system, okay? It's not the mark of immigration. This is the mark of, are there home invasion advocates out there who are preparing to counter anybody from charging someone for breaking into a basement and setting up shop down there? Because that's what we're talking about. We are ready to fight mass raids and deportations both on the legal level and the advocacy level, and by going to the streets, according to Maribel Hernandez Rivera, the Director in Policy and Government Affairs for Border and Immigration at the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU. Which is, of course, just a crazy, crazy group. Just nuts. And they never keep anything that's truly American and as a priority. They don't care. So this is what we're talking about. We're willing to work with the president if he works with us. Are you going to walk away from this shit? They can't. This is something they can't abandon. Because there is no way they can ever win an election again. There's no way. Especially since they're bleeding chips. All right? That's nuts. So Trump's 2017 executive order on border security, signed on the January 25th of 2017, directed the Department of Homeland Security to close the border and take several other immediate steps, including building more sections of the U.S.-Mexico border wall and adding 5,000 Border Patrol agents. How about we end the wars around the world? How about we officially end World War II and bring 32,000 soldiers home from Berlin and put them on the border? At least they'll be home. They'll be doing something real. There's cartel members down there trafficking drugs and people and weapons, many of them working with our own government. And let's actually get some work done instead of jacking each other off in Berlin. So that's just what I'm throwing out there. That is the state of emergency that's going to be thrown out into the public. And we'll see. Hopefully it's day one. Here's another interesting little development. I'd like to get my buddy Leroy Press back on the show from Viral News NYC. But he has been reporting, and I want to know just how many things are coming together, if it's a pattern or if it's just whatever. Migrants leaving New York City, a growing trend. This is from Leroy. Migrants leaving New York City, a growing trend since July. Many migrants have been re-ticketing and leaving New York City. Over 220,000 to 250,000 migrants have been housed here since the crisis began. Around 68,000 still in taxpayer-funded shelters. Recent ticket data shows a shift in migration patterns. There has been nearly 5,000 tickets purchased for Texas. Maybe that's because they're about to jump over the wall again and leave. 4,400, Illinois. So I guess they're either going to Chicago or some sleepy little suburb. They're going interstate, New York, which sucks. 4,024 tickets purchased to go somewhere upstate where it's quiet and whatever. 3,500 tickets purchased for Florida and about 2,500 for Colorado. Some migrants are also heading to Canada, while others are choosing to relocate to Spain or Mexico. Why the shift? Many migrants were misled at the border, promised jobs and opportunities that aren't available in New York City. Jobs are scarce, even for citizens. African migrants, in particular, are left without work authorization and struggling to survive. With Trump's mass deportation plans looming, many migrants fear they could be targeted if they stay. For some, leaving NYC and returning home is starting to feel like the only option. Well, it's nothing personal. It just has to stop. It's personal with the people who have done this, and I know a lot of these, some of these people came over flipping the bird. You're taking us, we're taking you, blah, 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 put us up, pay for us. I need diapers. I don't like the food here. Get me something better, like demanding shit and being very, aggressive about it, throwing all Reconquista bullshit talk out there, even though they're just pawns in a game. But other people, there's just so many being taken advantage of. And it's heartless. It's just heartless. Heartless. That's the only way to describe those who have put this plan into place and have managed it this long. They're the ones that are managing every battlefield on the planet. Ukraine, they don't care about hundreds of thousands dead. They don't even want everybody to know that those people died. They say like tens of thousands instead. They downplay everything. They've literally turned a generation of boys and men in Ukraine into minced meat. And they don't even have the decency to report the full death toll numbers on a war that's supposedly so necessary and so virtuous. Why are you covering up the massacre that you caused and that you're managing, that you don't want to go away, that you're actually making worse by allowing missiles to go firing many miles deeper inside of Russia now? So I'm all for it. State of emergency, start it all up. It's the most humane thing to do, to be honest. The most humane thing to do. And I have to get Leroy on the show soon to see what else he's been watching, because that was a post from over the weekend. All right, what else do we have at 8:49? Rosie says, there is zero uniting with the hive mind. My sister is a far left lib. She's snarky, condescending, with zero sense of humor. Anybody from the left will never unite with MAGA. And at least from my perspective, my sister embodies it all. It's impossible. Wow, Rosie. Kelly Silva says, thank you for everything you do, Frank. I love listening every night. Well, that's really just great of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've seen this thing going on, and yeah, I understand that there's a lot of people who are never coming back to the table on this. They never would. But there's also something else. They continue to jump on this whole idea of, all right, well, maybe if we just insult them, as if this is not part of the reason why that you have been trounced. They can't make connections. They don't know where the 10 million votes went. Maybe you can understand why people were upset enough to go march and demonstrate on January 6th. Putting aside those who had been, provocateured into breaking windows, and actually 99% of them took a peaceful little walk through the rotunda there. But maybe you understand a little bit more why, if you realize, whoa, where'd our 10 million go? It was really stolen, wasn't it? Oh, I don't care about it. Oh, the fact that I don't care should be something that's concerning to everybody else around there too. Criminals don't care. I need to be dealt with. You think that they ever have that kind of realization? No, they call people stupid. They call people stupid. They continue on with the whole, hey, look at all the test scores in Oklahoma. Look at all the test scores in Massachusetts. We're dealing with the most uneducated. And I'm just like, well, obviously you never went to civics class. Everybody wringing their hands over the Department of Education. They never were educated about American civics because they wouldn't have any interest in what was going on in Oklahoma or how the schools are run in Massachusetts. They only care about this stuff because the only way that they know that they can gain power is by hijacking every last one of those states and their representatives to be able to pass whatever the hell they want, that there's no limit to the function and the authority of government as long as you have a slim majority lead in Congress, that there's no restraints. Even in their talks about why this election is a real referendum on education, or maybe it puts under the microscope how poorly educated the right wing is. It doesn't cover it at all because they don't even understand where the hell they come from. And it actually is really, really crazy because the education is largely run by liberals, no matter how red the state is. So, I don't know. And when you ask them, hey, what's the biggest educational disconnect between all those finely educated liberal students in Massachusetts and lowly Oklahoma? What's the biggest educational disconnect? Where do we not align that it translates into election losses or different voting patterns? Where does education come in? That's something else. And can you also explain how urban dropout rates, high school dropout rates in urban areas in major cities are astronomically high, but they are all considered Democrat strongholds? How's that? How's that the matter? Or what about people who become future Republican voters who pass through liberal schools in blue states? What about that? What about trends in places like New Jersey that close the gap considerably? There's obviously something else going on there. They never even talk about it. They don't get into any. It's just any way that they can insult somebody to be able to avoid having to look into the mirror and assess what the hell's been going on. What have I been saying? What are the ideas I've been putting out there? What are my responses to other people's queries? So I get what Rosie's saying. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's going to be really, really tough, and some people are just lost forever. Thank you, Joe and Mika, by the way. That's all because of people like Joe and Mika. That's all I have for you tonight. Okay, so tomorrow's going to be great. We have a guest on. Tomorrow night's guest, his name is Chris Hamilton, and he's a health insurance whistleblower. I've got a lot of questions for him about this, about the history of health insurance, where it is now, where it has been, how we can do to get away with it, to do away with it and actually make things affordable. Why is it becoming more and more unaffordable? Well, I want to see what Chris Hamilton has to say. That should be a really interesting one. And we'll have time for calls afterwards. Maybe we can actually take some of your calls. I'm testing a way to merge your calls with a ongoing meeting. And maybe tomorrow night we can try that out. So thank you for that. And then here you have this. After the show, right now on quitefrankly.tv, we have a few things that are going to be coming up on this November 18th. Head over to quitefrankly.tv. When this all ends, the after hours is going to start. Paul Joseph Watson, they're freaking out. Glenn Beck on Doge. Valuetainment, the U.S. housing shortage explained. Mark Dice, Brian Stelter on trust in mainstream media. That's funny. Flesh Simulator, Reddit is a psyop. Shane Cashman, will AI replace us? Jim Lee, Maha nomination, accountability for atmospheric modification. Go and vote for Jim Lee. I shared that in the Telegram as well. Judicial Watch, Trump team preps to smash the deep state. Sean Spicer interviews Steve Bannon, and Art Bell kicker at the end. Open lines, future 30-year prediction line. That'll be good. Can't wait to get around to more of those shows, doing more of those types of topics with you guys. But there's still just so much happening so quick. It's tough to take our eyes off it for a little bit. But tomorrow should be a nice little rest stop. I'm excited for that tomorrow night. All right, let's see. Real quick on quitefrankly.tv, the gold pills were going to Porpoiseful, NX17, Awake Not Woke, Witchy Poo sends a whole bunch of cookies, Braves Piano, Doug Simmy, Fart Whiff, more from Witchy Poo. Damn, a lot of cookies there. Doug, see me again. Sean Joe, Porpoiseful. C. Blanche says, best I can do with these F-tards. Well, thank you so much. Road Trip says, libs flee Twitter, shave their heads, wear blue armbands, join BlueSky while singing the Macarena. A cappella. Yeah, well, I didn't know about the Macarena thing at the end, but that's a real trend. Shaving the heads, the blue armbands. I still don't know what that means. They wear that costume from that Hulu film or something. They love the cosplay aspect of all this stuff. C. Blanche, thank you. Nat Hendy, 123 SKG says, you ever heard from Black Conservative Patriot? Yeah, I was talking to him the other day. Doug Simmy, thank you so much for rounding it out with all those cookies. And Mr. Pete and Rise Attire says, I forgot to say, I think Joe and Mika cut a deal. Either reverse your brainwashing or go down with the ship. I think all of your theories are valid at this point. They'd be much better than the wait 2 weeks Blueon crew. All right, guys. Until tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Talk to you soon. Be good.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
And now our super chatters, starting with Rosie, Kelly Silva, Mischief Managed Aunt Nancy, Cody, and Jay Britz. Thank you to all of our wonderful friends. Oh, we actually had one on Rumble. Jay Semo says, great start to the week. Thank you so much, Jay. You're holding down the fort. You're the only one over there, but I love you all so much for watching. Become a sponsor of the show. Do it until November 30th. If you become a Polaroid sponsor on either Patreon or Subscribestar, not only do you receive a one-of-a-kind photo in the mail every month, but you're also getting other exclusives, including stickers, bookmarks, a sample bag of coffee, and chocolate-covered espresso beans as a sign-up bonus. Go ahead and do it. After Hours starts right now.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?